Hi, I'm Angela.
And I'm Trish, and we're here to talk about
bad words in business. The business of closing deals, calling out the BS, and navigating the chaos of life.
Because contracts aren't the only things that need fine print.
Hello, welcome back to Bad Words in Business with Angela and
Trish. Good morning, everybody. And we have a special guest with us today.
We do. We brought in our friend Daren. And Daren, would you like to introduce yourself?
They're right. I am Daren, and I have many distinct attributes, including being a father, coming up on Father's Day. I'm excited every day, I suppose, but been in real estate settlement for a long, long time, so I identify as a real estate settlement services professional. I've been in title and escrow for 35 years, live in Seattle, and done that for 35 years or so. So that's about all I am, is a dad and a title and escrow person.
That's not true.
Wait. You are a parent to a very special fur baby. Let's not cut yourself short there.
Oh, that's right. I, like Trish, I have a furry four-legged Winston, and so we're more, first name basis, not father-son sort of thing. It's a bit of a transactional relationship, but we do have some fondness for each other, and it is he and I here in our little house in Northeast Seattle.
Typical Seattle house, right? They're all pretty same size.
That's it. Not a lot to it. It's a nice community, nice neighborhood. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Okay. And it's crazy. He's been in the business 35 years, but he's only 40 years old. So it's wild. He was such a smart 5-year-old.
I got kicked out of the house early, and I needed to do something. And so someone had suggested, a preschool friend of mine suggested real estate settlement services. And here I am.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
And Daren is a twin also, which is very, very unique. There's not lots of twins out there.
Yes, I am the lesser twin to my brother, Dave. So yes, we are identical twins and different paths in life a little bit, but lots of similarities, as you might imagine. So I've got my twinness. I have the kids. I have real estate settlement services. I got the dog. I love music. I love being busy. I love getting out into the community, hanging out with friends and family, and maybe that's my whole bio for you now.
Beautiful. And he loves people. He's a good people person. Trish and I are a little more introverted, even though Trish kind of pretends to be introverted. I think we both have a little extroverted in there somewhere. But Daren loves people and gets the energy from people, which I thrive for that. But holy shit, that is not what happens to me. When I love being with people, but then I'm like, okay, give me like the next week and a half to calm down. I need some silence.
I don't mind a little solitude, but I will say, I mean, it's the best thing about being in the title and escrow business is we get to connect with people who live in our community and play an active role in a major life event. And that's really the way I define real estate settlement services. And it's endlessly fascinating to connect with people when they're in the midst of buying or selling a home, or supporting real estate agents who are in a very competitive landscape as they work. And so it's an awesome business, and it's a great place for people like me who really do thrive on meeting and connecting with people.
Yeah.
And one special attribute that Daren has is he's a yacker. So that is, oh yeah. So
I love me the words.
Might need some prompting. Yeah, Daren's just in there. So yes, I've
We love
given
it.
him the title of yacker. So yes.
Yep. We love it. Okay. So today we're going to go over some random stuff, but we're going to talk about how to common title issues and how to solve them. I think that a lot of normal people will call it don't really know what title insurance is on your house. You go into your escrow and title office and you're like, okay, my agent said I need this, so this is what I'm going to get. But nobody ever talks about the issues behind what title means, what we're trying to solve, how we fix it. So we're just going to share a few things that we have seen or we know about, and how we can fix it.
Sounds good to me.
We'll just go through them. And first we'll start with boundary disputes. So if you've ever bought a house and somebody has built a fence or something and you don't know where your clear property lines are. So a boundary discrepancy is unclear or outdated property lines. So a fence is a big one. A lot of people will build a fence. They've had it there for X amount of years and they're like, yep, that's my land. And the neighbor says, nope, it's not. And when they go to sell, the neighbor doesn't want to give it up. So what we would recommend is having a survey, which is where they come out, they measure everything, they put in some little flags and they say, nope, here's your boundaries, here's where you have to move things. The other thing is sometimes it will get sent to mediation. So if the two can't agree on it, so the neighbor says, nope, and the surveyor says yes, or whatever the case is, that can even lead to legal action if necessary, which is awful. We did have one boundary issue for a long time. I think we were dealing with it. Oh, it was a driveway. We were trying to, the neighbor didn't want the driveway to be used, and it was a builder that was purchasing the lot. And that transaction went on for like, 3 years. Was it 3 years? Almost 4 years. And we just kept asking what's happening. And the county was still working. And finally we got it closed, but it took a long time. And the crazy thing is too, we were holding money for them. So that's the worst part. They had earnest money down and it was not a small earnest money. So that was a good one. We've actually run into that one.
And then also when you're talking about that, there is your adverse possession. When it's you have been using the property for 10 years, you may have the right to the property. That's another thing when you're talking about mediation. You are probably going to have to get a lawyer involved with it, just so that you can clean up the dispute. But that is something else that you and your neighbor may have to deal with also.
That is definitely pretty stinking common, I would say. Even ownership claims, where multiple parties are claiming that they own the same property. That's another one that's kind of crazy. And so we will do a thorough title search, of course, and we'll file a quiet title lawsuit to figure out who has ownership, which that is terrible. Also, nobody wants to go to court for any of this stuff. So pay attention to your stuff. One thing that we do whenever we buy a rental, we will have it surveyed right away just to make sure that we don't get in trouble for anything. As a matter of fact, we just had our Florida house surveyed because we were getting a new fence and found out that we had more than we thought. And because our neighbor, the fence was built over just a little bit, but we got back some land by putting in a new fence, which was amazing.
We had an escrow where the neighbor allowed the other neighbor to use part of the property as the driveway going up to the manufactured home. But in reality, the driveway was not a part of their land. And so it's still going on where it's a huge dispute as to how they are going to get to this property. So the buyer has actually fallen out twice now because it hasn't been rectified. So those are other things that you have to be aware of and careful of.
There's also the old switcheroo I saw on a closing we had a few years back, and the seller sells to the buyer, and the buyer is planning to move in. And when they move in, they see the neighbors behind them moved the fence closer towards the house. The neighbor picked up more yard, in the still of the night. And, there's just all kinds of horror stories out there. There's no good stories, by the way, with any sort of boundary line disputes. It's rarely ever, or maybe never, a good story. Not to mention, you may be paying property taxes on a part of property that you don't have the right to enjoy or you don't have access to.
Yes.
Definitely.
And let's talk about property taxes. Also, pay attention to your property taxes, because there are so many people that you just get them and they're paid through your mortgage. So you're like, they're fine. It doesn't even matter. But just this year, I ran into 2 times, not 1 time, in 2 different states. So I've lived in Washington my whole life. So I didn't know that other states have like all these, like, obviously they're different, but who knew that they all have extremely different rules? And I just had 2 houses, one in Arizona, they have had for the last 2 years as not being my primary address, which I have a primary address in a different state, but my husband has a primary address in Arizona. And so Arizona, they took away our credit for it being our primary, and they were charging us taxes based on it being a rental. But like our bodies are here. And then it wasn't a lot. I want to say it's like $600, but either way, $600 is $600 when you're paying 8 to gosh knows how much your taxes are, all the way upwards of 15K or something, depending on where you live. Sometimes they're more if your house is super expensive. And then the same thing happened to us in Florida, but it was because we always put our houses into an LLC, because any of our rentals or houses that we just don't live in full time, just for protection reasons. I didn't realize that also makes it so it belongs to a business and not a person. So they took away my personal tax credit there as well. So I had to jump through some hoops. It is not an easy hoop jump. And yeah, it sucked. So now my taxes are lower, but oh my gosh, you got to pay attention to those things, because who knew? In Washington, you can literally do anything. So I didn't know that all these other states had like these rules. And I think part of it too is because they're more of a tourist destination or like temporary residents. So they're real anal about their assessors coming out and what their assessors are saying. So pay attention to that stuff.
And I think sometimes when people think it's easy, I'll just pay my taxes when I pay my mortgage. And that is one thing I do not like an escrow account. I'll pay my taxes when I want to pay my taxes on time, by the way. But it's one of those things, just so that you can see what's going on, log into, the county site to see what your taxes are. Make sure that it's still under the correct name, that the, tax ID is still correct. Yeah. It doesn't take that much time, but it really is important that those kinds of things get done.
Yeah, I feel like that happens more often than not, that there are some errors. Remember that the people behind the screens are human beings as well. And humans make mistakes. We make mistakes. And so, yeah, that's something to really pay attention to. And I agree with Trish. I have stopped paying everything through my mortgage except my mortgage, because I don't know if you guys know this, but your homeowner's insurance gives you a discount if you pay them direct. And so it's a couple $100, which is pretty significant when you're paying bills. So I don't pay that. I've started to pay my taxes because, as a matter of fact, in Florida, they give you a discount if you pay your taxes. I was just adding it up actually, and it's about, I don't know, $500 a year that I would save if I just paid them directly. So I'm like, gosh, why am I not doing this? So yeah, you can save yourself $1,000 a year by paying it outside of your mortgage, which I wish they would talk about more. And I know that it's a convenience thing, but I don't recommend paying it through your mortgage anymore. I think when I was a younger buyer, it made sense. But now that I'm older and pay attention, I know what's going on now.
And if your lender allows for it, I mean, some lenders will even charge a borrower more if the borrower wants to pay it on their own. I do think there's a magic number, like 20% or more down. A lot of times lenders are a little more agreeable to a borrower paying their own property taxes. And then also you might find out, I was talking to my twin yesterday, and he was a little upset that he had a deficit in his impound account with the lender. His property taxes and homeowners insurance had gone up, and now he's going to have to refund into his impound account to get it built up to the amount it needs to be so the lenders can make these payments going forward. So, spoiler alert, your taxes and your insurance rate may go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not even get started on homeowners insurance. Mine just went up $600, and for what reason, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, that is one thing you need to pay attention. Look at your statements. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Although I have to say, when we did change, especially auto insurance, they did not like the fact that I did it within 2 years. So I had to end up paying like, I don't know, $20 more because it was less than 3 years. But I was still saving $300 by moving it. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and move.
Yeah. What I do is I have one mortgage. They are silly and they won't let me take my insurance out of it. And so what I do is I just pay the insurance, and then they'll send me a reimbursement check. And then I actually take that reimbursement check, I send it back to them, and I just do a principal only payment to my mortgage because
There you go.
I could hold it. Sure. I would love to. I always want to keep it, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give this right back to them just to get my payment down. And there's a rule. They say that if you pay one mortgage payment a year extra, your house will be paid off like 10 years sooner or something. Is that what it is? Something like that.
It's close. 13 payments in 12 months. I think it's about 24 years. But you net out a ton of payments. It's easy to run these amortization schedules online. There's all kinds of tools and calculators for that. And Angela brings up a great idea to get ahead. So that's one extra principal and interest payment. It's not the reserve figure too. So one extra principal and interest payment a year. Mm-hmm. You could use a tax refund or a company bonus, or you could steal the money, whatever you can do to make 13 payments in 12 months. And you'll see a big net benefit.
Yeah. And Daren, we are not going to recommend that somebody steals the money.
Did I say that?
For the option. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Hey, all listen, right. You got to do what you got to do sometimes, but hopefully if you're a homeowner, you can afford it. Although I know in today's market, we know it's not easy these days to afford a home. It's stinking expensive. Shoot, in Arizona, the utilities are insane. The utilities are just as much as our mortgage, I feel like, with water and power, especially in the summer. Because I don't know if anybody's been to Arizona, but it is.
Isn't it always summer?
It's like the devil's butthole in the winter or in the summertime.
All right. Finally, some swearing, some bad language happening. I thought insurance or taxes would prompt it, but Arizona weather. All right, let's do it.
We're saving up our words.
Yeah, and we're in the thick of it right now. It's as a matter of fact, this weekend it is supposed to be 111, and that is our first. I think that's a first triple digit. No, I'm lying. It's been over 100, but us folks that live here, we don't really even think about the weather until it's over probably 106. 106 is where you're like, okay, I'm going to die. I need to get some water and stay inside and just eat cookies. I can't go out there anymore.
So my husband Wade lived there for nearly a year, and I went once to visit him. That was it, just once. Baby, you can come and see me, but I'm not coming more than once. So I get up in the morning, and this is August, unfortunately. I get up in the morning and go to brush my teeth, and the cold water never cools down. We had taken our dog with us, and so she wanted to go outside at 2 a.m, no problem. First of all, you have to take the blue light flashlight with you so you don't step on any scorpions. And then it was still 102 freaking degrees. I'm like, what is the matter with this state?
Yeah.
It's awful, awful.
It can be something. I think I go for a walk every morning, and I go early. I think this morning I was out the door at 5:10 and it was 80. That was our low, was 80 degrees. So it's funny. I still wear pants and a t-shirt because I'm still okay. But yeah, when I go to Washington though, if it's under 75, 80, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so cold here. I'm going to die. I'm freezing. I'm going to turn into a popsicle. And then my sweet office mates like to keep the office around 70 degrees. So all day long.
73, don't exaggerate.
I don't know. What do you think, Daren? Or how do you feel?
It's a pretty damn cold 73 degrees. Come on. I mean,
I have to say, no, I have to say your office is one of the coldest offices. Mine is one of the warmest because I have all the windows. But yeah, your office is definitely the cooler office. Whenever
I sit.
Whenever Angela comes here, let's do a little prep work. So first of all, I always say, make sure you take an antihistamine because we actually have moisture here. And then we have a little space heater that we go into the office and turn it on, close the door, pull out her blanket so that she can be comfortable when she comes in. And then, yes, she comes in her ski parka and
Wait. It's not just any blanket either. It's a heated blanket that I put on with the heater underneath me. And then whenever somebody comes in the office, they go, oh my gosh, I can't talk to you. Let me stand out here. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel
it's hot. It's hot.
Yeah, we could go on and on about this, but it definitely is. It's warm and our water doesn't get cold. So you start to take showers and you're like, this is not refreshing. So you're outside, you're working, you're so hot. You come in because you literally have sweat dripping from head to toe all the way down your butt. And it is awful. You get in the shower and you're like, this isn't doing shit for me.
Yes. So anyway.
On social media, our hashtag is always at NW Escrow Title. You can find us literally on everything. Bye.
Bye.